Welcome to the Be Well and Ground podcast, where we come together to nurture our bodies, our families, and our lives in a way that's sustainable, healthy, and full of heart. I'm your host, Emily, and each week we'll connect with wellness experts, passionate professionals, and fellow mamas to bring you practical tips and inspiration on everything from motherhood and health to gardening and low-tox living. This is a space for community where we lift each other up with actionable advice, support, and the tools you need to create more balance in your life. Whether you're looking to grow your garden, simplify your wellness routine, or just find that little bit of peace in your busy day, we've got you covered. So grab a cup of tea, join the conversation, and let's journey toward a more balanced, more vibrant life together. Welcome back to the Be Well and Ground podcast. I'm your host, Emily, and today I am joined by Stephanie, founder of Soak Head and Foot Spa. On this episode, we talk about her journey from corporate burnout to entrepreneurship, the inspiration behind Soak, and why intentional rest matters more than ever. But before we jump in, I wanted to share that Soak is currently offering discounted gift cards for Father's Day. So for this Father's Day promotion, they are doing a $115 value for only $100, as well as a $230 value gift card for $200. So if you're looking for a place to reset yourself with intentional rest, I wanted to share an amazing update that their booking links are actually now live at soakheadandfoot.com. And mark your calendars because their grand opening is officially on June 16th. So I cannot wait to go myself. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Now let's get into it. Well, I want to take the time to welcome our next guest to the podcast. I have Stephanie, the owner and the founder of a really amazing business coming to the Huntersville area in just a few short weeks. So without further ado, I'm going to toss the floor over to her, let her introduce herself and what business is coming to Huntersville. So go ahead.
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me, Emily. I'm so excited to be here and talk about this mystery business that's coming to Huntersville, but it is called Soak Head and Foot Spa. And we are a very niched, modern luxury high vibe salon that focuses on helping people relieve stress and tension in the two places it manifests most, which is absolutely our head and our feet. And so we are opening in just a few weeks. We are so excited to bring this to our community. There's really nothing like this up here. And so I think it's just going to be so fun for women and men to get out and to experience these services.
I am literally so excited, especially because the location is very close to my home, which makes it very convenient for me to pop over there, get a treatment, have some recharge time as a mom, especially I have two little ones, to kind of find that space for myself. I would love to kind of talk to you more about this because when I first met you, I bought your desk actually, fun fact, and I'm sitting on it right now. But shortly after that, I saw that you were opening Soak and I was like, wow, this is so amazing. Is this something that you've been working on for a while, or can you kind of talk to us what led you to the creation of the Head Spa?
Yeah, it's interesting. You're actually sitting at the desk that Soak started at because I started this a couple years ago. We had the idea for it, but then we really started about, I would say, September, October of 2025, drilling into
Okay.
bringing it to life. So you have the original Soak desk, I will say.
Ooh, I
Big
feel so
deal,
honored.
big deal. But yeah, there was a lot that led to Soak. And, I'm really proud of the story that it has because it is a meaningful one and it's very personal for me. But it goes like this essentially, a couple of years ago, I found myself I was working in corporate America, which I had done for my entire career. And I was just really burnt out. I had a young daughter at home and I was incredibly stressed and overwhelmed. And I was working 60+ hour weeks. And for a couple days in a row, I wasn't really feeling myself, feeling my best. And I had said to my husband, I don't know what's really going on. I've got this like intense pressure on my chest. And he said, why don't you just go get it, looked at? And then I never did. And then one
Oh,
evening it got so bad to where it started really going down the left side of my body. And I was like, is it possible that in, my early 30s, I'm having a heart attack? And so, I freaked myself out, but I went to urgent care. They sent me over to the hospital and it turns out I was actually having a panic attack. And what was really scary about that is I had never experienced anxiety before. Thankfully, I was really lucky in that. Never really knew what a panic attack was. I've obviously had friends and, knew people who experienced it, but I never knew it could be so physical. I thought it was more on the mental, emotional side. So once we figured that out, my husband was really kind and gracious, and he took me out to Asheville for a weekend to decompress and relax after that.
mm,
And he booked me
yeah.
a massage and a foot soak. And I had no idea what a foot soak was. The lady just convinced him to add it on because he said he was surprising his wife. And I had the
Oh,
massage and it was great. But then I had this foot soak and
mm,
I put my feet in this water full of herbs and suds and soaks. And I was in a robe and there was something it was like a magical moment that I can't describe. The minute my feet hit that water, I felt
mm,
tension in my shoulders dissipate. Like my mind actually quieted. And then when
mm.
the therapist started using clay on the bottom of my feet and hitting these pressure points, same thing. It just
Oh,
really, my whole nervous system felt like it reset in that moment. And I
yeah.
remember thinking, and I even texted my husband after the appointment, that was something really special. And, I just never stopped thinking about it and knew I wanted to recreate that for other women in the Huntersville area. And here we are about 4 years later doing it.
Wow. So from when you had that first or foot soak to kind of the creation of soak, what was the pivotal point for you to be like, hey, I need to start pursuing this idea?
Yeah, there was. So it had always been in the back of my mind. And then I had a head spa. And when I had the
Oh,
head spa, it was just another one of those moments where I was like, okay, wow, this now evolved from foot
yeah.
soaks to foot and head. And I started really making the connection. And once I had that, it really started clicking and working for me. Like, this is really
Mhm.
something we need. So I ended up having my son, who's now 2. And after I had him, I went back to corporate into a new
Okay.
job, a new role. And it was just the same old thing. Listen, I'm very blessed for the corporate career that I had, the opportunities that I was given. I will never, never speak bad about, you know, what I was able to accomplish because of the people who gave me those opportunities in corporate. But corporate life
Mhm.
just wasn't for me anymore. And it wasn't for me because it didn't fit my family life. It didn't fit my values in terms of what I wanted to build and where I saw
Okay.
our life going. So knowing that, I just ultimately decided like now is the time if I'm going to do it. My kids are going to watch me when I'm young. We're going to take this
Yeah.
risk. We're just going to go for it because there's no better time than now. So
Oh man, that's amazing. So do you remember the
yeah.
exact day that you were like, okay, here's the day I'm going to, leave this and start this? Was there like, do you remember the
Well,
date?
it's funny you say that. So May 12th, 2025 is the day that
Okay.
I formed the business. So just a little over a year ago. And that
Okay.
was when I told my husband, I'm gonna just get the LLC.
Right. Just
Like
start.
maybe
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
start, just see what this
Yeah.
looks like. And then October, a space became available that I was really interested in. And I just remember looking at him like, are you on board?
Yeah.
Good for me to go? And he was like, go. So really in October is when we just
Okay.
decided.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Now, how did you hear about this space? Were you actively looking for buildings after you had the LOC, or you just happened to hear about it and that's kind of how it worked out?
Okay, so this is kind of a really not funny story, but interesting story. Let's just go with that. I'm a very big believer of what's meant to be will be, but sometimes when you have
Hmm.
challenging situations, right, it's really hard to
Yeah.
know that. So what I mean when I say that was really reflected in the story of acquiring our space. So I had found a really incredible building in Huntersville. It was a large building. It was like 4,000 square feet. And
Hmm.
we ended up putting an offer on that in 2024. Okay. So remember, I said I opened the LLC in 2025.
Yeah. Okay.
Before I put an offer in on this building and immediately we were turned down. It was like a
Okay.
no go. And at
Yeah.
that time, I just didn't really know like if soak was ever going to become a thing. And I was just like, let's just try it. It was a total no. It happened for a reason, but I was kind of really disappointed. Like, oh,
Mhm.
maybe this isn't, for me. And so I
Yeah.
kind of avoided looking at buildings for a while. But in
Okay.
2025, once we started like, hey, the LLC is formed. Let's really consider this. We went to go purchase another building in Cornelius. And we had gone back and forth, and it ultimately came back as a no again. So
Mm.
right next door to that building was a brand new apartment complex. And I'm like, maybe instead of purchasing a building, we're going to lease the space. I
Okay.
kid you not, about 4.5 months of trying to get this space leased. We had the lease in hand. It was signed on our end. We had
Yeah.
meeting after meeting with the landlord. It was looking really good. The deal fell through.
Oh,
And so Yeah, I remember coming out of that and just looking at my husband's shed and was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe this wasn't meant for us. This is technically the third place that hasn't worked out. What am I going to do?
Hmm.
Well, the next day we were driving back from that spot and I saw this big for rent sign on a building that I had always admired in Huntersville. It's funny, everybody who knows our building tells me they had the same experience. They love this building. They always wonder what it was going to be. And
Right.
so I ended up seeing that for rent sign. I
Hmm.
called, I saw the building that day and then had a lease fully signed in the next 7 days. So it was very serendipitous. And I believed it was always meant to be that building no matter what.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about because every time I drive by, I'm like, that's a beautiful building. Like, what is that building?
Yes.
Yeah, it
It's
sticks
because
out.
there's nothing, so it
Yeah,
leaves a lot of wonder,
it
and
does.
now it gets to be ours.
Oh man, and it's a really good spot because you always drive by it and you're gonna see it and be like, "Ooh, what is this?" Well, that's crazy.
Totally.
I had no idea there was so many setbacks in order for this to even get started, especially with looking at spaces. That's crazy. It definitely
Yeah.
takes a lot of resilience on your part. But I would love to kind of dive into it. So we talked about soak and what it is, but could you kind of give us a little bit more specifics? Like, what if someone doesn't know what a head spa or a restorative soak experience is? Could you kind of explain what the services are?
Yeah, and we get questions about this all the time because it is kind of, new and
Yeah.
people haven't had it before. So it's funny, I describe it as think of the best pedicure you've ever had in your life. Times that by 10 to 100.
Okay.
Get out the nail hair and add
Okay.
in fancy robes, super comfy chairs, and really good mimosas.
That should be the
And that's
description. Like,
right. Like
yeah.
that's just to kind of give people an idea of it. But truthfully, what it is, the soak experience from a foot soak perspective is that you're seated down in a chair and your feet are submerged from the knee down. So it's the whole lower half of your leg is submerged
Okay.
in a large custom copper basin that we had made.
Okay.
And you have a choice of one of our 5 soaks. And our soaks are a mix of herbs and oils and clay blends, all designed to help you release tension or reset your nervous system in some way. And what's really great about it is, a lot of people don't understand the benefits of just warm water and a lot of the herbs that we have. And so there's a really cool educational component to it with what it does to the body. But during the soak, we also have therapeutic leg massage. And so we use a lot of different modalities and techniques to help
Okay.
drive tension out of the lower leg. So everything from the knee down. And then we're reflexology inspired in how we do pressure points in the feet and the toes.
Okay, that's amazing. So, question, did you already have a well-rounded expertise or just kind of knew a lot about this kind of thing before you started? Or did you have to kind of learn as you're like, okay, I want to do this, and you kind of educated yourself? How did that happen?
I'm laughing because absolutely not. No, I was a corporate girly for 20
Like
years.
you
I have no massage therapy experience. No, I just knew I had something. I loved it. I had a
Yep.
vision for what it could be, and we would figure it out. And that's kind of honestly been my motto my whole life is
Yeah.
what will be, and we will figure it out. And so there's been a lot of learning for me over the
Yeah.
last 8 months. I've really dove into every aspect of this. I've got a motto in Soak is I will never ask anybody to do anything that I don't know how to do or haven't tried to do outside of the licensed, aspects of
Yeah.
it. But what I mean by that is I have taken every reflexology massage training class that I'm asking my staff to take. I got
Oh,
certified myself in Yume Head Spa. And again, I can't do the services because I'm not licensed, but I sat in all of those trainings so that I'm just as educated. And
that's
so it's just really important that I know it as well as the people who are working for us.
yeah, that is amazing just from a leadership standpoint to have that kind of just the person there that's going to stand alongside the people that are working with you just to really understand your business from the like literally from the inside out. How do you think so you mentioned the copper basins. Is there a reason for the copper like a more beneficial for the body or talk to me about
Yeah,
that?
there is. So the first is they're beautiful. Let me just say
I
that.
know like they look amazing.
They are a showstopper.
Yeah.
The second is they're 100% copper, and copper retains heat incredibly well. So it really
Okay.
helps with the warm water for our soaks. We do come around and warm up the temperature for clients, but the
Okay.
the way they hold heat works really well with the copper. And then the third
Uh,
benefit is they're antimicrobial. So of course we disinfect and we do everything that we can to keep a safe and clean environment for our clients, but it really helps having a metal, pure metal that is actually antimicrobial.
Nice. That's awesome. So speaking of the copper and kind of setting that atmosphere, what type of atmosphere? Because I've been following you on social media and I'm sure people have. Can you kind of verbally describe what kind of vision you have or the atmosphere you're feeling for this space when people come into it? If you could put that
I
in words.
can.
Yeah.
And I love the questions that you're asking because I could talk about these all day, especially the atmosphere. That
Yeah.
it has been a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, a lot
Hmm.
of, stress at times because I have decision fatigue. So sometimes it takes me a while to really lock in on, no, that's the thing that we're gonna do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But when I say every space and nook and cranny of this building that we're creating has been designed intentionally, I
Hmm.
mean that from the, deepest part of my body.
Yeah.
The colors, the brand choices, the furniture,
Okay.
the locker rooms, the way people drop their robes, like it's just all based on an exceptional client experience. And we have practiced that over and over again just to make sure that from the moment someone walks in the door, it all, makes sense. But as far as the
Yeah.
vibe, it's very luxury, it's very high end,
Hmm.
really, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful furniture and equipment in there. But I
Hmm.
think there's sometimes a misconception with that. And that's like luxury has to be expensive. And although we are, high vibe, high luxury, high end, our
Hmm.
services are meant to feel affordable yet luxurious.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's enough places that women can go where they feel completely cared for and treated, and the space matches what they're getting, but they can still
Mhm.
afford it. And that's what I
Right.
really wanted to create.
Yeah. It almost seems too like in order to get that type of treatment, you have to go pretty far away and try to make it more of a thing. So I love
Yeah.
that the focus is making it feel like that, but also so affordable so a lot of people can go wherever they're at and just kind of get the services. And you did say that the services are for men as well. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we're going to have a really strong male population once we get moving. I mean,
Okay.
let's be honest. I don't think there's a ton of men out there looking for foot soaks. However, every time I'm getting a pedicure, there's a
Right.
man in the
I was
salon
about to
and
say
it's
that.
more trendy with men getting pedicures. So I think we're getting there.
My husband did come with me. I was pregnant. I made him come. I was like, "I want you to experience your first pedicure." So, but he said he liked it. It was nice. I know. It's
Yeah, it's
actually
great.
so I wanted to know a little bit more. Did you have a background in like picking this stuff out? Or you just always had a natural eye growing up for like design, or how did you it feels like there's a lot of thought that goes in everything you did. And I was just curious if that was something that is just one of your strengths as a person, or is that something you learned, or kind of tell me what inspired you to be so intentional about everything?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I love design. I love
Okay.
woodworking. This wall
Okay.
behind me, I built
I was
this
just
wall.
admiring you. Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking across, my laptop and I just did a bunch of built-ins in my kids' playroom.
Okay.
So building and being creative like that was really fun. However,
Gotcha.
I cannot take the credit for the design of our space. We've been working with an incredible interior designer who's very talented, who's bringing our
Yeah.
vision to light. And so we worked really hard to get our brand in good order, the colors, the story, the values. And then she really has taken that and has pulled the visual together. It's
Good.
just coming out so beautiful.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to see it in person. That's going to be amazing. I know you've been kind of sharing sneak peeks of your construction, which is really cool to see because everyone can kind of get a sneak peek before it actually opens. But I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the business in general. Why do you think that head spas are becoming more popular now?
Well, first and foremost, head spas are a trend right now. They're
Okay.
everywhere on social media, which is great because it's getting exposure. But there is so much more than what you see online to a head spa. And I'm really
Okay.
hoping that Soak can bring about that education. So with Soak, we are a certified Yume head spa, which means that our equipment, our modalities, it all originated in Japan. And we follow true Japanese head spa models. Another really big benefit that a lot of people don't know is most head spas that you see online on social media, again, they're great, they're trendy, they have a great service, but they use a lot of recycled water. And what I'm really proud of is the equipment that we've chosen, it's all fresh new water 100% of the time. And so
Mm.
you're always getting a really clean, natural cleanse when you have our head spa. But beyond that, and this has been something to your point earlier about like, have you always learned or
Yeah.
know this? And what have you learned? No, I learned this pretty recently building this business, just
Uh,
how much stress affects your scalp and affects your
oh,
hair.
okay.
So like me, you have little kids, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you went
Um,
through this, but when I was postpartum, I lost so much hair,
yes. Yeah.
right? Obviously,
Yep.
that's a postpartum.
Mhm.
I also started losing a ton of hair when I was stressed and anxious and overwhelmed. And I was like, what is happening? My hair is thinning. And it was because of the way my scalp was being taken care of in those moments. And somebody in the training made a really good reference that head spas are not meant to help with hair loss or anything like that. What they do is, if you think of it like a tree can't
Okay.
grow on bad soil, right? It would have rocks in it and roots, and it would be
Uh,
really difficult. What a head spa
right.
does is it helps your hair, AKA the tree, grow
Mhm.
healthier, stronger, thicker because you're taking care of the soil. You're getting rid of all of the debris. You're prepping it. You're making sure that it's not clogged.
Mm.
And once you actually start seeing what your scalp looks like on a trichoscope, you realize just how clogged it is and just how much you're inhibiting that growth. So
Yeah.
it's kind of been really eye-opening to see A, how stress affects your scalp, and then B, how a head spa clears out all of that and actually helps your hair blossom, if you will. I think that's super cool to share on top of obviously the all of the work with we use
Right.
shiatsu massage and pressure points to relieve stress and tension. So it's just a beautiful service.
I am literally so excited. That is so amazing. Like that sounds like the perfect place to go, especially the fact I am losing my baby hairs there. I didn't even think about that analogy. That is really creative with the soil, which makes sense. And I love to garden too. So I don't, that's perfect. But
Yeah,
talking
no,
about,
I actually had a head spa today.
did
I
you
went
really?
I did. I needed a little self-care in between
Yeah.
we were at a career fair today and we had like an
Yep.
hour and a half break and there was a head spa and I went and got one because to me they're just the greatest thing. So this is head spa
Yeah.
hair that you're looking at.
Oh man, that's wonderful. Well, I kind of wanted, this is perfect. You were talking about kind of stress and kind of how that can manifest in the scalp and the hair. We talked about the physical or ailments of that too. So I would love to chat a little bit more about wellness in general and rest. So what would you say? I know rest is very important for you now and kind of switching from corporate to your own business. What does intentional rest look like and mean to you?
I cannot lie. I'm a terrible liar. You would see it all over my face if I said that I have been prioritizing my own intentional care these last few weeks with getting a business up and running. Because
Yeah,
normally I'm regularly looking at my calendar and peppering self-care, whether that's, I mean, it's not always a massage, it's not always a spa experience. It might just
right,
be, it could be a pedicure. It could be,
right.
grabbing a glass of wine with a girlfriend, like something to fill my cup. I haven't done
Oh,
that much lately,
yeah,
obviously with building a business. And so
yeah,
when I had this break today and I had 90 minutes and I didn't know what to do with it. My mind was swirling. I was, just talking to a bunch of people. I had to stop myself and say, Stephanie, self-care time. Let's look up
right.
and see if there's something in the area. And
Mhm.
why that's important is because what we want to do at Soak is catch people before the stress catches them. Meaning,
Mm,
I don't want somebody to be in an urgent care to realize that they need a massage or time to themselves like I was. We want people
mhm,
to put this on their calendar the third Thursday of every month, or
mhm,
else it is going to catch up to you. And you're going to have this like 90-minute break where your brain just starts freaking out because you haven't cared for yourself. So, my
mhm.
hope is that with intentional self care, we're
Yeah,
actively booking this out. We have a monthly membership model for that reason, because I want people coming back every single month and putting this on the calendar. We deserve it. We deserve it. We work so hard. We deserve it.
yeah, I love that. That's fun. I don't know if I shared this before, but the thing that actually got me into yoga was also a panic attack. I had my first one ever on Christmas Eve at Target. I had no idea what it was. I was like, why can't I breathe? It was terrifying. But that was my wake up call to be like, am I prioritizing rest enough? Am I doing things to fill my cup? Am I slowing down? And I wasn't. So that was kind of my wake up call. So that is 100% something that I need to put on my calendar. I like to look forward to my pedicures every month, but a head spa is a great place just to almost, I need a reason to be slow. Does that make sense? Like if I have an appointment somewhere, it's easier versus like in my house. Okay, be slow.
It's true rest if you're like laying there or getting a foot soak and your mind is still
Yep.
swirling. And so the
Yeah.
intentional part of it is that you train your mind to slow down when your body slows down.
And what better way to slow down with a beautiful atmosphere and a soak, you know? But why do you think, just kind of, 2026, why do you think people are craving slower wellness now? I feel like that's now everyone's kind of having a wake up call, be like, wait, we shouldn't be 2,500 miles an hour all the time.
Yeah, we're just in a generational shift,
Yeah.
and we have social media to thank for that, obviously. Social media it's great for what's happening right now in wellness because it's showcasing all of the different ways that you can take care of yourself, but I also think it is the number one cause of the reason that people are stressed out and burned out and overwhelmed, and so it really is this double-edged sword. But I
Yeah.
also think we've reached a point in the professional world where people are done putting everything that they have on the line for these companies and, realizing just how important and how short life actually is and how important it is
Yeah.
to be with family. And my generation, so more on the elder millennial side, like we are some hard working people. Everybody I meet that's kind of in my age range is really relatable to my story about working 60 plus
Mhm.
hour weeks and we're driven and we're determined and now that we're starting to see a generation come up, I wouldn't say that they're not, but they just have a different experience for us. It's almost like they're slowing us down a little bit, which I think we need. So it's a really good thing that's happening, but I do blame a lot of the burnout, stress, and overwhelm on the things that we're seeing online. So I have to be careful about, how much I praise social media because on the flip side, I also think it's just as detrimental.
Yeah. It's that balance. What do you think? So, talking about just kind of the overall overwhelm, social media, is there a thing in general, just kind of speaking to women, that we should stop feeling guilty for it? Is there something that you feel like in general women feel guilty for no reason?
I mean, first is time for themselves. We all feel guilty. I was just gone from my kids today for over 12 hours. And when I came home, my 2-year-old son didn't want anything to do with me. He wanted daddy because daddy was with him. And as a mom, like that guts you. I've dealt with that a lot. Like it hurts my heart. But what I have to remember in those moments is those 12 hours that I was gone, I'm building something for my family. And
Hmm.
it's so important that your kids see you doing that as well. So I'm helping him as much as it might hurt me in that moment. And so I think the first answer to your question is making time for the things that you enjoy. I love working. I love building soak. I love being with people.
Hmm.
That lights me up. And so I'm always going to make time for that. The second thing that I think a lot of women feel guilty for is spending money on themselves, which is so interesting to me because we
Yeah.
spend money on some of the silliest things, but when it comes to taking out that credit card and swiping it in a spa, we like freak out. And
Mhm.
the way I try to talk about self-care and spending money on it is it's an investment. Your
Mhm.
car breaks down, what are you doing? You're taking it to the shop, you're getting it fixed. Runs out of
Right.
gas, you're taking it to the gas station. And we look at those things as necessities, but we don't
Hmm.
look at our own body as a necessity. And so when you are going to a spa or getting a treatment, you're putting gas back in your tank, you're fixing, the sore muscle or whatever it is that you need to move on with your day. So you're just investing in yourself so that you can go long term. So I think the guilt of money and time that'll never go away, but we have to reframe how we look at it.
Yeah. I was just thinking, I feel like it would be easier for everyone if we had like little digital things that said low fuel. You know what I mean? Because we don't see it, so we don't think about it to pause and notice how we're feeling unless the physical thing happens louder. I would love to talk a little bit more about entrepreneurship in general. So what would you say is the most rewarding thing right now for building Soak for you?
Watching it come together. Like,
Yeah.
to have something that's been a vision for so long actually turn into the physical is the coolest thing I can ask for. So that's the first answer I'm going to give you to that. And the
Okay.
second is the bookings. Like the fact that people are actually like, I am coming in and
Yep.
here's the date and time and I'm committing to this is it's so fun to watch. It's everything.
That is so exciting. I remember my husband and I had a business a long time ago on Etsy, and every time we had a sale, it was ding ding. It was like, oh my god, like we literally are
Cool.
doing happy dances. Like you're the one doing the happy dance for the bookings. I love that. What would you say on the opposite spectrum? What was the most challenging thing so far?
Because it is. It's challenging building a business like this from the ground. I'm one person doing it all. Finding the right people who love this business as much as I do in terms of working here has been a little bit of a challenge, right? There's a lot of talented people, but finding people that really believe in something the way I believe in it has been tough. And then I think just juggling everything all at once. The
Yeah.
the business. I mean, in this business, I'm literally the visionary, the CFO,
Mm.
the marketer, it's just all of these things. HR, it's a lot all at once, but every time I get overwhelmed, I just remind myself how worth it it's going to be when those doors open and we are caring for people left and right. So,
Oh man, I love it. So talking about that, do you have any advice for any other women that might be pursuing a dream of theirs that you could give
do it.
them?
Do it. Like,
Do
seriously,
it.
do it
Yeah.
scared, do it nervous, do it tired, do it
Yeah.
happy. You have to just do it because I mean, it's so cliche and I hate talking like in cliches, but what are you going to do? You're going to get to the end of your life and look back and say, why didn't I do that? Like, I can't imagine a worse feeling in this world being
I
like,
know.
I regretted not trying that. I did that with one thing in my life and I will never do it again.
Right. Yeah, no, that's really inspiring. I love that. So throughout your career, was this something that was like the loudest thing for you? Or did you have multiple businesses that kind of came throughout your career that you wanted to open? Or is this the only one that's been like, this is the one I want to do?
If you ask my husband that question, he would laugh because I want
Really?
to do everything and anything. I have 5 other business ideas right now. I've
I
opened
know.
multiple businesses that, some worked, some didn't, because I didn't
Okay.
give it my all. I
Yeah.
would say what we're building at Soak is probably the biggest vision I've ever had and the strongest and the clearest, but nothing has
Mm.
ever felt as right as Soak does.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's amazing. That means you're on the right path, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. So I would love to kind of wrap up with a couple rapid fire questions. But before I do that, is there anything else that you kind of wanted to address or talk about before we jump into those fun ones?
Yeah, I think the last thing I would just share is, we are so close. And the first 2 weeks of June, we are actually doing some tester appointments for friends and family and any friends and family of this podcast as well. So if you want to come in and you want to try a service, a foot soak, a head spa, we're offering them for 50% off for people to
Mm.
actually test out and let our staff get some practice in and we could work out all the kinks in the first 2 weeks. And then
Yeah.
June 15th, we officially are opening the doors. Hey world, we're open for everybody to come in and see us.
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Yay. So is there still open spots for those 2 weeks for
There are.
June? There are. Okay, cool. I'm doing that right after we finish talking, by the way. That's amazing. So I would love to kind of this is kind of how I end all the podcasts. We just kind of do fun questions just to kind of get to know you a little bit better. Are you a head spa forever or foot soak forever?
I can't
If
pick
you had to,
both, right?
no, you can't. You have to choose one.
Foot soak. It's the greatest thing in the world.
Okay. Nice. That's the great answer. Do you have a favorite calming scent or your favorite blend that you currently have?
Lavender is my favorite calming scent.
Okay.
Favorite blend that we have right now is the recovery blend for our recovery soak.
Okay. Nice. Do you remember what that one consists of? This
Of
like you could
course
like
I do.
okay,
Oh,
yeah.
so our recovery soak is the one that's focused on muscle relief and tension relief. But the oil
Okay.
blend in there is blue tansy, which is just incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Cypress, cedarwood,
Mhm.
Okay.
peppermint and eucalyptus. So it's like a minty
Yeah.
cooling blend, and I just love it.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. So evening or nighttime self-care? What do you normally lean on or go
Night,
towards?
nighttime.
Nighttime? Yeah. I did have a friend, little side note, as a mom, you have time segmented off at different times. And so I was always not doing a face mask because it was at night. And I was like, I don't have time to do it at night. I'm already tired. And my friend was like, why don't you do it in the afternoon? I'm like, oh. And so I kind of shifted that. So it was kind of weird for me because I was like, I always have to do self-care at night. But
Yeah.
my brain was stuck in a certain way. I was like, no, I can take my self-care can change in this season. So what is your favorite grounding ritual?
That is a really good question. Gosh, there's so many that's coming to mind. I think can I have two?
Of course.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do two. One might sound a little cheesy, but music centers me. And so I like to just find songs that I'm really gravitating towards in, a single moment, and it shifts pretty often. Right now, there's a couple Luke Combs songs that are just like hitting home. And
Yeah.
so just popping in my AirPods and sitting outside, and my friends and I, we call it sunflowering, where we just let the sun hit us in the face. And I just pop a song in and sunflower for a few minutes. And it changes the whole game. It just kind of resets me, which is really nice. And then the other grounding ritual is I always have a little blend of our relaxing blend with us, and it's always in my purse. And anytime I just feel overwhelmed or overstimulated, I just pull that puppy out, a couple sniffs in a moment, and then just put it back in my purse. And it's just really helpful.
Those are amazing. I love did you come up with the sunflower name?
We did not. We're in a group chat. We talk about it all of the time. If I told you where it really originated from, I don't know if it would be been appropriate on your podcast.
They go towards the sun. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's where it came from, but that's not where we saw it.
oh, okay, I got you. Got you. What do you think is the most underrated wellness habit?
Most underrated wellness habit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, scheduling it. Like, that's a no-brainer. I think that's underrated. And I mean, scheduling it out. Like, you should have a day every single month that's dedicated to you. There is a lot to be said about consistent self-care. So I would probably say that.
Okay. And then what would you say, this is the last one word that describes soak?
Heavenly.
Ooh,
That was easy. Heavenly.
That was the easiest one. That was a good one. Oh, it does. Honestly, it sounds so heavenly. And I am so excited. I'm going to hop off this call. I'm going to book myself one of my appointments, which I'm so excited about. But I wanted to thank you for just kind of taking the time to chat with me today. And everything that you said, if you want to do just kind of like one final thing about where people can find you on social media, or if you want to head over to your website and share that information. And then everything that you say will also put on the show notes too for people. But I'll go ahead and leave the floor to you one last time.
Yeah, the best place to find us right now is on Instagram. So we're at soak_Lake Norman. And that way you can kind of see everything that we're building in real time. Our website is www.soakheadandfoot.com. If you go there right now, you'll see a landing page until the beginning of next week, or when our website goes live. But I would say Instagram is the best place to follow along with us.
Okay, cool. Well, I am so excited. And if you are listening and you have not heard of Soak, I highly recommend that you go ahead and follow them on social media and see what Stephanie's up to. And then in a few weeks, check out and go in person and kind of support her in this amazing business that she's bringing to Huntersville.
Thank you so much for being here with me today on the Be Well and Ground podcast. I hope this episode has filled your heart with new ideas, inspiration, and a little more peace. Remember, your journey to balance is uniquely yours, and you deserve all the love and joy and the calm that comes with it. If you enjoyed today's show, I'd be so grateful if you could share it with someone who might need it, or if you could leave a review to help others find this space of support and inspiration. That would be so much appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode filled with heart and healing. Until next time, take a moment to breathe. Have a wonderful day.